Howdy, friends and floorheads. Happy Thursday night. This is long overdue. I have been a fan of this game for a very long time. It's actually the first time I'm getting a chance to play it, which makes me exciting, but I haven't run it either. And it's kind of interesting because I think one of my first interviews on the podcast with designers was with Dennis Detwiller, who you saw the art in the intro. Dennis does all the art for uh, Delta Green, and it's freaking amazing. But we're not here for me to run anything because I am playing. So I'm going to hand it over to the gentleman to my right, the first guest GM we ever had on the channel, and we couldn't wait to have you back. Thanks for running the show, Brian.
It's always good to be here, man. I appreciate the opportunity because you always got a good batch of players going on. So yes, Delta Green. As a really quick summary for those who may not be familiar with it, Delta Green is a not entirely official pseudo governmental organization which is dedicated to finding and quashing any incursions of what they generically refer to as the unnatural, which can be anything from magic to horrible things from beyond the stars to weird hypergeometric magic to who knows what. Basically, these are Delta Green agents are primarily people who have day jobs somewhere else in the government, and occasionally they will get contacted and are told the organization needs you. Delta Green never refers to itself by that name, but you get the occasional surprise that says you are needed to do something important. Um, as we begin tonight's episode, which is called Observer Effect, uh, we start with the traditional black camera intro and the little subtitles click down up front. Tuesday, June 21st, 2016, 9:58 a.m. And we focus on the lights come up on what looks like a fairly generic conference room in a nondescript office building. There's a sort of big U-shaped table with a lot of people sitting around it and coffee and muffins and stuff off to the side. It has a pause screen for a PowerPoint slideshow up on the screen that says operational level response to hazmat slash WMD incidents, Chicago Department of Public Health. And it looks like they're on a break right now. There's a bunch of people on phones or on laptops, sort of whiling away the time. And we focus in at the moment on a young man, probably mid 30s somewhere. Um, and that is going to be Mr. Remy Beaumont, played by the inestimable Craig Shipman. Um, we we don't have character photos here. Is that? I mean, that's all right. We can pop one up if we need to. But anyway, so Remy, you're on break. You're helping present this, to help some of the local folks get a grip on what to do in emergency situations. And your phone rings, just as you're getting ready to pick up. It says Ashley.
Which is my wife. So I immediately,
Hmm.
excuse me a second, and
Hmm.
walk off.
Okay. Hey, hon, how's it going?
Good baby. Look, I'm presenting right now. Can't really talk.
Oh
Everything
shoot!
okay?
I thought you were supposed to be on break now. I'm sorry. I'll let you go.
No, honey, I'm on break. It's all good. Is the
Okay.
kids okay?
Okay.
Everybody's okay, right?
Yeah, no, everything's fine. Your dad called and he was asking about the stupid thing with your mom's. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it a stupid thing. Yeah, your mom's insurance, and I told him you had most of the paperwork on that, and I didn't know. But maybe you could give him a call over lunch or something.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take care of it, honey, and just let it go to voicemail if he calls again. I'll take care of it.
All right, that sounds good. Everything going all right up there?
Yeah, baby, we got a good crowd here. Everybody's learning, and yeah, we're in good shape, and all these city boys like my accent.
I like it too. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you. I just wanted to check in and say I love you.
All right, baby, love you too.
All right. And as you're about to hang up, you see the some of the other presenters up there kind of giving you the high sign, like, hey, let's get ready to start it back up. And just as you're about to hang up and start heading in that direction, you start screaming. Ms. Garnett, Agent Garnett, I should say. You're at home for the first time in a while. The FBI has seconded you to an annoying little think tank off in the Washington D.C. area that's been keeping you away from home for the better part of a year. But you've actually got a little time off, so you've come back home. You've probably just come home from having breakfast with your daughter, who is just gotten accepted into Northwestern and is really excited and nervous and is trying to pack things up. Uh, so she's basically kind of rattling off a mile a minute about the stuff she saw at the campus and the things she wants to do. And I hope I get into this, residential hall, but the other people are so nice. But then there was this guy, and just kind of rattling off as she continues going. Um, so I mean, how is your well, let me rephrase that. She kind of stops at one point, when she's been rattling on for a while and she's realizing you're kind of starting to drift off a little bit. Um, and says, "Is is everything okay? I mean, I know you've had to go away for work for a while, and you seem like you're kind of stressed out. Is everything all right?"
Oh, honey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. This is your big day. This is your big moment. We're here for you today. Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, this is this is packing. This shouldn't be that big a moment, but
Well, but you're leaving the home. You're
yeah,
getting out in the world. It's a big deal.
yeah, I'm stressing. I hope so. I mean, how much longer are you going to be out there? Because I hate the idea of the place just being here empty.
I I, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, all right. So anyway, let me tell you about this. This. I know it's too early to be looking at sororities, but I met some people. I was there, and just as she starts going back into that spiel, um, you start screaming, "Doctor Hua!" You are currently in a conference room at Braidwood Nuclear Generating Station, which is just outside of Chicago. You and your associate, your second, Carrie Midwood, have just finished doing a regularly scheduled inspection, and you're doing the sort of presentation, about your findings. For the most part, it seems to be reasonably well run. Everything seems to be in order. There's always some little stuff that you can pick on, as far as little potential security lapses or some things that need more frequent maintenance. Um, but your Carrie is kind of giving the meat of the presentation right now, and one of the directors of the plant, who is sitting next to you, just kind of leans over and says, "I, I mean, I'm. This is my first inspection. I mean, we're okay here, right? This isn't a big deal."
Yeah, Dr. Wall looks down at the clipboard he's got in his hand.
Uh-huh.
I have nothing to report right away, but between you and I think we're good. Don't worry about this inspection. This is a formality right now. There's no major items found. Minor little things. You'll get a report later on, but overall, you're in good shape.
Great. I appreciate that. And at this point, Kerry looks like he's kind of wrapping up his summary of the presentation. Sort of turns to you and says, "Dr. Hua, is there anything you wanted to add?" And as you consider opening your mouth to reply, probably to say no, nothing that important, instead you start screaming.
Do I start screaming now?
I mean, you can feel free to do that if you want, but I don't think it's strictly necessary.
10.
Um, and then Mr. Porter, you find yourself, as you might on any given Tuesday morning, at your office in Dayton, Ohio. It's an NSA facility here, and it's pretty new and it's pretty clean and it's pretty high tech, but it's still kind of a cubicle farm. So you're kind of plugging away, working on some long term projects. You don't have any immediate crises going on right now, so you're basically just sort of checking through the news, seeing if there's anything you need to be aware of or keep an eye on, as far as new cryptographic schemes or any breakthroughs along that. And then Omar, the guy in the cube next to you, kind of pops his head over the wall and says, "I'm having a good morning today. You know why?
Why's that, Omar?
The Reds didn't lose last night."
They
It's 'cause
didn't play last night.
exactly, and until we fix the fucking bullpen, we are never oh my god,
I
this
mean, it's
team.
gotta start at the top, you know that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
I
need to
know.
sell that whole team.
Oh, yeah, who's gonna buy it?
I
Who
don't know, somebody gotta want it.
I got some change in the back of my couch, I think I can find some.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know how the game works. I mean, they're all worth billions. What do they care?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe if we stop buying tickets. Oh, who am I kidding?
Nah. Who buys tickets anyway? How long has it been since you bought a ticket to a game? The last time I went, you gave me tickets.
Well, I know my wife knows a guy who has a box. It's a whole
Right.
thing. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So anyway, where you want to go to lunch today? And just as
Uh,
you're about to reply, wait for it, you start screaming.
I knew it.
Yes, it's like there's a pattern developing here. All right, so now we're going to cut back to Remy. And so basically, you kind of come to yourself with the echoes of your own scream kind of, ringing in your head. And, everybody in the conference is just turned to the back of the room and is looking at you. You hear, from the phone in your hand, baby, 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 are you okay? Talk to me, baby. You don't know what just happened there, but there was something unbelievably awful. And it's like, have you ever had one of those dreams that you have just as you wake up, and as soon as you try and grab onto it, it starts fading away?
Right.
It's like that. It's dissolving something. And it occurs to you. Well, first, why don't you go ahead and make me a sanity roll, just on general principles?
That's a great way to start this off. I love
Always the best.
How about them apples?
Okay, you're fine. So that will be 1 point of sanity loss.
All
Not a
right.
big deal. I'm sure.
So
you'll
I'm
be
going
fine.
down from 60 to 50 today.
Yep, you're fine. And it occurs to you that, I mean, there's enough sort of wisps of that memory, dream, fit, whatever it was, that you could try and grab onto some of what it was before they fade. But as soon as that idea occurs to you, there's like a deep, visceral gut reaction that says that would be a really bad idea, and you do not want to dig further into that.
Got it. So do I know that I was screaming?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You can still kind of hear it. Your throat's still a little hoarse, and everybody's, a couple of people are starting to come over to you now.
Yeah,
Is
hey,
everything
look,
all right?
Steve. I apologize. You're gonna have to run things real quick. Got to talk to the wife.
Yeah,
Something's
yeah,
going
you all
on. I
right?
apologize for the disruption. You good to run the next
Yeah,
bit?
yeah, yeah. No, I know, I got it. Just take care of yourself, man.
Yeah,
Do you need something? Do you need me to call
no, I'm
somebody? Or?
just gonna go to little boy's room, and I'm not feeling real great right now, and you're gonna talk to the wife. But
Okay.
hey, Steve, I appreciate it.
All right. We'll check on you, man.
Immediately
Uh-huh.
go to the phone.
Oh my God, honey, what's going on? What
Baby,
happened?
you know what? Something's going on here. I'm not quite sure what's happening.
Are
I'm
you okay?
okay.
All
No,
right.
everything's fine. Everything's fine. Listen, gotta get straightened out here. Gotta figure out what's going on, but I will buzz you back as soon as we know what's going on. Okay?
All right. Be safe.
Oh yeah, I will, honey. I
All right.
love you.
Okay. I love you.
So I'm going to hang up, and I am going to go to the restroom.
Okay.
And I want to get to a mirror as fast as possible.
Mhm.
See if I look the way I feel.
I mean, you look pale. You're a little bit clammy, sweaty. Um, you seem unharmed other than that.
Okay. Just going to double check my phone because I had the phone on and I was talking to the wife when it
Mhm.
happened. So I'm just gonna, bring the screen up, double check to see if there's any missed calls or was the last call from my wife, and double check the contact on it.
Yep, no, that was the last call. It shows the, 3 minutes or whatever you were on the phone with her. It looks like, ballpark, you were maybe screaming for 10 seconds or so,
That's a long
that
time.
kinda lost time. But other than that, you seem, I mean, your heart's starting to calm back down now. It was it was really weird, but,
Yeah.
you have no there's no sign of anything other than whatever was happening in your head.
I think I'm gonna go home.
Okay.
So I'm gonna step out, try to find somebody, you know, connected with FEMA that may be outside the conference room.
Mhm.
Just explain to them, hey, I need to go back to the house. Need to check on the wife. Steve's great. He's gonna finish this up without any problem.
Yeah,
Um,
one of the other presenters was there. You get the thing, he was, like, hanging out in there to try and keep an eye on you when you came out.
okay.
And so he's yeah, absolutely, man, take care of yourself.
All right. Listen, I'll be at work tomorrow, and I'll explain everything that's going on. But everything's good. I just need to get back to the house.
All right, you got it, man, take care of yourself. All right,
Head to the car
all right, and off you
or
go.
truck. I drive a truck.
Of course you drive a truck. Why would you not? All right, Agent Garnet, you kind of snap back to reality where you are, and Sarah is just kind of looking at you, Mom. Oh my God, Mom, what's going on? What is it? What's happening? Was something I said?
Honey, no, honey, no. It's just I need a second. And I
Okay.
kind of would do the similar thing. I'd probably go to the bathroom and just kind of like splash water on my face and kind of like try to
Mhm.
sort out what the heck just happened.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and make me a sanity roll first, if you would be so kind.
Hmm.
Everybody loves those. Ah, yeah.
Damn.
No, you've been
Good.
through worse.
Good.
Yeah. So again, you've got just those sort of fading wisps of memory, and you feel like you could maybe dig into those a little more, but you really kind of don't want to.
Hmm. So yeah, I just splashed some water on my face, kind of
Hmm.
look in the mirror, and
Yep.
just kind of look over. I have some medication. Thinking about it after that whole cultist experience, there's
Hmm.
some. I was prescribed some probably medication for panics kind of situations. I'm just like
Sure.
looking at it, it's like I don't want to take it, but maybe I should. What the hell just happened?
I mean, it doesn't feel like the panic attacks you had before, but
Hmm.
they tend to be a little bit different for everybody. So
Hmm.
hard to say.
Then I'd probably come out after like
Hmm.
a minute or so and just try to calm my daughter down.
Yeah, she's just been
It's
pacing back and forth, you know.
Sarah. It's fine, Sarah. Just I'm sorry. I'm on some medication, and I think I had a weird reaction to it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to the doctor about it.
All right. Go ahead and just make me a straight charisma roll for that, if you would, or persuade actually would work too.
Okay. Um, where is my persuade? There it is.
Ooh,
Okay.
Fuego.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Just God, you scared the crap out of me. Um,
I'm sorry, honey. I'm
no,
sorry.
it's not your fault. I mean, do you need to go somewhere? Do we need to see anybody on this? Is it all right?
Not right now. I'm definitely gonna look into it later, but
Mhm.
I don't think I was told ahead of time there's gonna be some side effects. It's a new drug. I'm developing and adapting to it, so I'm guessing this is just one of the side effects.
Okay. Um, and she kind of looks at her phone and then sort of puts it away. And knowing her, it occurs to you that it's at least possible she was considering calling your ex-husband,
Hmm.
but it looks like she didn't, at least not now. Well, do you want me to go out and get some lunch? Should I come back later? And you
Yeah,
okay?
that sounds great. Yeah, if you just want to grab me a sandwich or something, I just maybe I'll take a little nap. That'll
Yeah,
help calm
it's
me down,
all right.
and then we can get with the moving.
Okay, all right. I'll be right back. Don't just take a nap.
Yep.
Okay, and she heads out.
And then I will just kind of probably sit there and just kind of try to relax and maybe try to do like some probably done some training for like de-stressing, I'm
Hmm.
sure. And I would just try to do like a kind of meditation to practice to see if I can just calm myself down. Is I don't know what the heck happened. And
Yeah, you bring up your little Serenity Now app, and
mhm.
all right. So you try and get yourself back settled that way. Um, Dr. Hua, there are a bunch of people around this conference table, kind of standing up and looking at you. Kerry is just kind of bug-eyed in front of the presentation screen. Doctor, is everything all right? What's going on? There's somebody running over to get like a glass of water and some coffee, whatever you might want.
Yeah. Doctor kind of shakes off a little bit and sees everybody looking at him a little awkwardly and Oh, I put my phone on vibrate. This is the first time I've tried it. It scared the hell out of me. I need a minute, guys. I need a minute, and just walk out of the room.
Okay. Well, you can go ahead and make me that sand roll if you would.
Amazing.
I love it.
Here comes the bad rolls. Let's see it.
Sorry, Kyle. I don't know if I told you, but you do take 1 point of sanity for that, even with the fail, even with the success.
Boom.
All right. You're good. So that's 1
We're
point for
dead in
you.
the first scene, though.
Oh yeah, no, you guys got this under control. It's perfect. It's perfect. Okay, so you kind of go out of the hall and amidst a lot of muttering and concerned noises.
Kind of look around, looking for that bathroom I used day prior on this
Yeah,
inspection. Just try
it's
to
down the hall a little bit.
kind of jot my way down. And actually, before I leave that room, I'm going to say, Carrie, go ahead and finish the presentation. You know the drill. And I walk out.
Yeah, okay.
And just go to the bathroom, splash some water on my face, and just stare at myself, trying and pondering what the hell just happened.
Yeah, you've never had anything like that happen before, and again, you don't have a real clear memory of whatever it was. It was just like this gut reflex to something horrible that you can't even remember now.
Yeah, takes a deep breath, tries to gain his composure, and realizes he's at this place to do work and there for a job, and he's going to trot back into that conference room with the rest of the group.
I'm a professional. All right. So you, it takes you a minute to sort of get the shaking down, but by the time you return to the conference, you're doing all right. And everybody certainly looks when you come in, but you seem okay. There will certainly be some questions about it afterwards, though, I'm sure. And then Mr. Porter, you can go ahead and give me that sanity roll if you would.
Yeah, too many people have passed.
Don't break the streak, John.
Don't be that guy.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking
Everything's
about.
perfectly
Oh,
fine. The 1 point
Roll
of
20
sanity
is
for
way
you.
better than Forge.
Shit, man,
Oh.
you all right?
How many times I got to tell you, don't bring up the Reds and food in the same conversation.
Oh my God, is that a trigger for you? I had no idea. Give me a persuade roll.
If only I were better at these things.
Well, you're good at talking to machines. All right, the streak is broken.
Yeah.
And so Omar just kind of looks at you and says, seriously, man, what the hell? And you can see kind of all around the floor, there are little prairie dog heads popping up from behind cubicle walls looking over. Omar's kind of waving them down.
I don't know. It must be. This must be a migraine or something. Isn't that what they like? I feel like a spike in my head.
Yeah, I did. I have heard that. Shit, man, you need to take a break or something.
Yeah, maybe I should go home. Maybe I mean, there's nothing really happening today, so.
Yeah, no, man, no, man, take care of yourself first.
All right.
We got 50 people around here to do this. Yeah. I'll tell Kevin if he has any problem, he can take it up with me. You could use some less, man.
I grab my computer and stuff it in my computer bag and.
Okay. Well, no, your work computer doesn't leave the building.
Oh, okay. So I have one out. Okay.
Right.
So I would sign out all the things I have to sign out, and then
Yep.
head out to my Prius.
Excellent.
Drive home.
All right. Sounds good. So all of you were kind of taking your own way to sort of relax and get past this this hopefully temporary and single bout of weirdness. And then about an hour later, around 11 o'clock, each of you gets what looks at first glance to be like a spam text. It's like you've won 2 free tickets to a night at the opera. Click this link. And because of the phrasing, that phrase "a night at the opera" is commonly used in Delta Green. You get the feeling this is an actual connection of some point. So if you click on the link, it takes you to a web page that asks for a password. You have a Delta Green password that you were assigned when you were inducted, so you put that in, and it basically has an address in Evanston, Illinois, which is just north of Chicago, a room number, and it says 3 p.m. today.
Shit.
So those of you who are in Chicago, while you might not feel up to it, are not going to have a problem getting there. Agent Porter is probably going to have to race to Cincinnati and catch some kind of business jet at the last minute. Garnet, you're going to need to fly out of Detroit Metro because driving that won't get you in there in time. But unfortunately, this is the nature of Delta Green. They don't give you a lot of interaction opportunities. It's like, we need you here now. And the expectation is that you'll get there now. Anyone doing anything particular preparations wise, or anything I need to know about?
Do I assume I have a bag.
Mhm.
So, and I assume, and I don't leave it at the house, Brian. So,
Okay.
I've got a storage facility that my wife
Mhm.
doesn't know about. I
Mhm.
go there. It's a "Don't let this happen to you" part of Chicago.
Right.
And get my bag, throw it in the back of the truck. I'm gonna head on up and just tell the wife that there's some sort of fire, something that happened. And I'm gonna be, probably might be a night or two, but I'll keep her updated. But they need me up there to help kind of direct things.
Okay. She is, worried about you as she always is, but she knows you've done this before. She just says, "Stay safe, baby. Call me when you can."
And as far as work is concerned, Brian, is there somebody I
Mhm.
need to call there?
So when they're on the lunch break and you're probably already on the road getting there, the guy who's in charge of the conference basically checks in, and he's more or less, you kind of did a lot of your part early, and they've got some other people doing it. So he says, you know, his first question really is, "Are you okay?"
Right.
Because that was scary as hell. But it seems like they feel like they have the situation under control, and if you need to take some time, take some time.
Yeah, I just a day or two. I'll keep them updated.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
I open my computer and quickly book a flight,
Okay.
and then I send Omar a quick email that basically says, guy, I'm trying to book a doctor's appointment. Probably not going to be today. Probably can't see me until tomorrow. I'll probably be out a day or maybe 3. Um, I'll see you next week.
All right. And he says, cool,
Yeah,
cool. Take care of yourself. Keep me
yeah,
posted if there's anything I can do.
yeah. Then I send a similar email to Lori, but hers is more about, oh, business says I got to go here. So
Yep. Yeah.
then I run out to the car and take off.
Okay. Fair enough. Um, all right. How about Agent Garnett?
I am probably going to be on the phone right away, start calling to get a ticket and get a flight booked. And I'm sure Sarah overhears it while
He
I'm
probably comes back
talking.
with lunch right as you're
Mhm.
writing down the flight details.
And it's that classic, we've had this happen a lot in our life. She's
Hmm.
used to it. That "I'm very disappointed in you, mom" look. I'm just like, "I'm sorry. The job demands it. I gotta
Hmm.
go."
And she's
Uh,
like, "But
I'm,
you're on vacation. This
I,
is your week."
I, yes, honey, this is really important. I'll make it up to you. I promise.
Okay. Are you feeling
And
all right?
then, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Like I gotta go. I gotta go. And then I just head out the door, and I have all my stuff in my car ready to go, pretty much
Yeah.
because
I'm
I have to
assuming
have
all of
that.
you probably have a go bag. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Dr. Hua, anything else? You've probably wrapped up the seminar at this point, and Kerry is kind of just sort of, he's like, I'll drive back to the office, and just sort of keeping the eye on you. The "Are you okay?" He's not pressing you to talk about it if you don't want to talk about it, but he's clearly worried.
Yeah, I definitely sense the worried stares and ignore it. He's a junior inspector. He's learning from me, not the other way around. So he knows his place.
So the key
Uh,
is to scream when an important question is raised, so they know you're
that's
serious.
the one. That's the one. Um, but yeah, Dr. Waz ready to go at any time with that go bag. I just in my head, I just pictured him in drive through waiting for food and just get that text and it's like, I'm on
Mhm.
the road. Let's do this.
Okay. All right. So all of you managed to make your way to Evanston, Illinois. Um, at just before 3 o'clock, you're all gathered in. Basically, this is a sort of nondescript state government kind of building. It's got one of those conference tables that's like plastic laminate over that sort of plasticky wood substance. It has probably the same projector in here that's been in here for 10 years, and a coffee machine on the side, which actually provides decent coffee, surprisingly enough. And since this is probably the first time you are all meeting each other, let's go around and get some quick descriptions of what you people look/act like. I guess we can keep going in the same order since we've kind of established it. So, Craig, tell us about Remy.
Just like you said, Brian, mid-30s. I've got a full beard, but kept trim. I shave my head so that I don't have to keep fighting the fact that I'm losing my hair.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Obviously an athletic guy now, but it doesn't look like I've been running marathons recently, but it's one of those people you can tell like I was probably good at sports in high school. Just have that physique about me. I'm imagining for Remy, he's going to wait for a signal as far as whether I am going to talk to anybody or have any type of interactions. I know different groups handle things differently. So I don't know what we're having here. I'm waiting for our handler to show up. So I keep to myself, just give everybody a nod, and I sit down.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, so Chris is very, very good shape, but she looks a little rough around the edges. She's had a hard life, and she looks a little bit older than probably she actually is. And that's just because, especially the past few years, have taken a toll on her, both mentally and physically, just because of the whole situation, the stress she's been dealing with. And as far as kind of how she acts, she's probably going to observe a lot. So she's going to be that person that takes the cornermost section of the room and just kind of sits there and watches and tries to read people and get a feel for like, who are these people? What are they going to be doing? What are they like? Who am I going to have to cover their butts and like just constantly babysit? And who's going to be able to handle themselves?
All right. Sounds good. Dr. Hua?
Yeah, Dr. Hua is still in his suit from presenting at the facility, and he kind of observes people as he walks in, but he goes straight to sitting down. If there's chairs organized in a manner to where like maybe somebody's presenting or a discussion, he's at the front row. He's that guy.
Yeah,
And
it's actually just kind of like a 6-8 person conference table, so it's all pretty compact.
Gotcha. He goes to the right next to the projector wall.
Got it.
And just
Okay.
sits there and has his notebook and just kind of keeps to himself. But
Okay.
he's got glasses, tight, clean haircut, um, not athletic at all, but not overweight. So he's just kind of there.
Middle
That's
of the road.
accurate.
All
There-
right,
there you
fair
go.
enough. And then Mr. Porter.
About 5'10", short dark hair, brown eyes, wears glasses. Constantly has a computer with him. He pulls it out as soon as he comes in and sits down. Looks like he's probably in decent shape. Probably runs like 2 days a week and thinks he runs more. But he doesn't make a lot of eye contact with you guys. He makes a lot of contact. Looks at his computer a lot. So.
So right as the clock ticks over to 11, a woman comes in. None of you have met her before. Thin, starting to go gray. She's walks with a little bit of a limp. She sort of comes in and looks at the four of you sort of sitting around this table, no one actually communicating with each other, and just kind of walks into the sort of the head of the table. There's not really a podium there. And she just kind of closes the door behind her, locks it, sits down and says, "My name is Agent Carpenter. I appreciate all you coming out here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with chit chat because we have a feeling this one may be kind of time sensitive. We are sending you to the Olympian Holobeam Array. It's a high-tech physics lab in Elburn, Illinois. It's about 90 minutes from here. A bunch of folks from MIT, University of Chicago, running it. It's funded by the Department of Energy and a bunch of private donors, funding companies, that sort of thing. Their website says, and she kind of pulls up a piece of paper, that it has been built to study the theory that space itself is a sort of three-dimensional hologram cast on a two-dimensional surface. I hope none of you are going to ask me what any of that shit means, because I don't know. But we have received information that this array uses technology that is derived from a bunch of Air Force technology that was defunded years ago. They were considered too dangerous to continue researching. But during the termination of this process, some elements of it were reclassified and privatized and sold to private companies like Olympian Advances. And we think that some of that same dangerous technology is being used here.
Fucking Reagan.
You can talk. I'm impressed. Anyway, the array went online at 10 o'clock this morning. And between the background of it and some other anomalies that we've detected, we think there may be some kind of incursion of unnatural forces going on at the array. So we need you to go there, isolate it, cut off any communications with the outside world, and stop whatever incursion may be going on there.
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
I hope you will.
What exactly makes us think that something odd's going on? I don't know if I'm real clear on that.
Well, partly because we know where this company got their technology from, and there were some other elements that I'm not at liberty to share with you at this time.
Ma'am, it ain't easy for us to do our job if you
I'm
keep secret
I'm well aware of that, and make me a human roll if you would.
a what role? I'm sorry.
Human intelligence.
This game is easy.
Apparently. Yeah, there's definitely, you get the impression that she feels a little bit guilty about this, but she says, believe me, if we thought it was something that we could safely share with you, we would.
What's the threat assessment? What should we expect as far as resistance?
Well, we don't really know. There's only about a half dozen people on site, a couple security guards, which are basically rent-a-cops. Depending on if there's anything truly unnatural there, we have no way of knowing at this point. There hasn't been any sign of, there's been no emergency calls placed, no sound of, gunshots or any activity like that. So we don't think there's any imminent violence going on. They may just be, well, we don't know.
Has a perimeter been set up yet? Are they contained?
The place is pretty well self-contained. It's securely walled in. It's on a private plot of wooded land, no immediate neighbors. So we don't have a formal perimeter set up. We have set you up credentials as a Department of Energy inspection team. We have it. The inspection you're conducting is set up very highly classified, so nobody who's actually with the DOE is going to come anywhere near this thing. That said, if it gets to the point where any first responders show up at the site, that's something you may have to contend with.
Is there any person or persons we need to make contact with here, or any individuals we need to make sure get out or anything?
I mean, standard rules of engagement apply. If you can get everyone out safely without anything unnatural getting out of the facility, great. We've got the basic information on the personnel there is on their website. We don't have any direct contacts within the facility, so I would just say, I hate to say that we're sending you in blind, but we don't know what we're dealing with yet, and that's why we need a team like you.
Okay, I quickly pull up their website.
Okay.
I will cut and paste some pictures into a. I don't know. How do I? I don't have a way. Do you guys have a way for me to send these messages to you?
Here, let me send you a text.
Okay, I just give you my number.
Right.
If you just want to shoot it on over, it'd be great.
So I've popped up a sheet. Wow, that is really out of focus and impossible to read there. I popped up
Actually,
a
it looks
sheet.
fine on our.
Okay, it's very blurry from my end, but anyway, that's basic information on the personnel that are there.
Okay.
The website is very vague. It has the kind of description she quoted about what it's intended to do, and makes references to MIT and the University of Chicago, and doesn't actually say anything about what it's doing. So
Okay.
it's clearly some kind of cutting edge, relatively secure / classified physics research.
All right. And I also wanted to pop and take a look at Breckenridge Corporation.
Okay. It is a fairly well-known private security group in this area. Let me see. Do you have any? What is the name of that skill? Sorry, just pulling up a character sheet here.
I'm hoping it's computer science.
No, I know you have that. Do you happen to have any military science?
I do not, for reasons
Okay.
of something.
Okay, probably because you didn't spend time in the military.
I did.
Oh, well, apparently you didn't take notes.
The reason you're still not in the military.
What? Wait.
I mean, I wrote your
wait,
background. I should've known that.
wait. I have military science land.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Basically, you're probably familiar, at least in broad strokes, with Breckenridge. They're headquartered out of Chicago. They do a lot of work with other government contractors doing security work, and you can make me a military science roll if you want.
What is that skill? Usually, Brian, what does it cover?
It's basically knowledge of sort of military bureaucracy, military projects.
Got it.
That sort of information.
Hey.
Oh, okay, cool.
Damn, John.
So you would know that one of the companies it is closely associated with is Olympian Advances, which is apparently the major funder of this project. So it's not entirely surprising that they were brought on to do security. Most of their people are probably ex-military, so they're probably a little better trained and equipped than your average rent-a-cop.
Gotcha.
Agent Carpenter says we have a cargo van with DOE markings and plates. I've also got cover credentials set up for you. These are all associated with DOE employees who are either dead or retired. They should pass some basic checks, but not any detailed scrutiny. So try not to get anybody questioning you too deeply. We've got some supplies in the trunk. We've got some sidearms, some medical equipment, some basic information, some basic equipment we thought you might find useful. She hands to probably you, Remy, just an old style burner phone, basically a non-smart cell phone. That basically has, she says, my number's programmed in there. Use it if you have to, destroy it after the op.
Hey, you look like you're good with computers and stuff, man. You want to take this? So I kind of put it towards Kelly.
Sure.
Okay. It's an appallingly old phone, but it'll work.
I'll immediately grab the keys. I don't trust these guys to drive.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else I can tell you before we get you on the road?
I was just going to ask, any y'all have connections in the DOE? Is there? Sounds like that's the only government connection, and I don't know, Miss Carpenter, whether somebody that maybe can give us a little bit more insight. I'd like to see a little bit more before we get there.
Dr. Law
Uh,
steps up
mhm.
and makes it known that uh, uh, actually, Agent, I'm an actual inspector for the DOE, so I have a lot of insight on this, and I can help run point on this.
Yeah, so I don't know how high up you can call, obviously without tipping nothing, but
He reaches into his briefcase, grabs his little laptop computer,
Mhm.
tries to connect to the Wi-Fi, uh, and
Um,
I imagine there's some sort of intranet that I might be able to utilize for the DOE that might have information on certain sites or certain information.
Sure. As
Uh,
you're starting to pull that up, Agent Carpenter kind of looks at her watch and says, "Can I recommend that you guys maybe do this on the way? Because, like I said, I think that time may be of the essence here. You got about 90 minutes of drive, depending on how the traffic goes."
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And as you guys are paying up, her cell phone buzzes, and she picks it up and says, "Yeah, okay." And she hangs up and she says, "So apparently there has been a power surge at the array, and they're running on backup generator power at the moment. Uh, that's all I have
all right,
for you, unfortunately."
we're good. And Mr. DOE there, if you don't mind, maybe making some phone calls, or Mr. Computer Guy, you got a way for him to get connected while we're driving?
Sure, I got a hotspot. Got a
All right.
mobile hotspot. I'm also gonna see what I can do with this place's inter their network, but sounds like it might be down now if they've had a power surge.
Yeah, presumably if they're on backup power, that would be.
Right.
So basically, you're all able to get down to the van. In there, in addition to IDs for each of you, and because these are new characters to all of you, I'm not going to give you another set of fake names to remember. So we can keep referring to each other by your original names. We'll just sort of assume that the cover identities are what you're using when you're in front of people. There are also four 40 caliber service pistols, with actual DOE markings on them. Um, and there are a couple Geiger counters, um, a medical bag, which is much similar to the one that Remy already has, um, and um, and that's about it. So if Agent Garnet is driving, what would the rest of you like to do during the travels? Um, let's see,
I'd like
Porter. I know you
shotgun.
said okay, of course, of course. So let's see, Dr. Hua, you were going to be looking for um, information from the DOE.
Yeah, kind of do some rough searches for this Olympian Holobeam, Breckenridge Corporation, some
Mhm.
different keywords to try to see if I can find any information that maybe the DOE already has. Also noticing that Geiger counters were in the bag that was given to us.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Leads me to believe that there's some sort of nuclear source or potential from this site. So
Mhm.
I imagine there's got to be some sort of information on this. Hopefully, if it all fails, I imagine Remy and I can chat and help him get some peace of mind of what he's looking for. Have that conversation.
All right. So looking through, yeah, the DOE has a little bit of information on the place just because they're apparently they're like the government sponsor, behind it. There's certainly not a lot of information available and stuff you had access to about what they're actually up to. It kind of regurgitates a lot of the same information you saw on the website that it's um, trying to prove or disprove the holographic theory that reality as we know it is a hologram being projected onto a two-dimensional surface. And I mean, it's not like quantum physics is your particular area of expertise, but you know enough about it that this seems like kind of a crackpot theory, but government money. um you would say, looking at what you've got, it looks like a pretty small staff It's a lot of fairly experienced people. It doesn't list like any interns or any junior folks. So it's like a small but very highly experienced staff. You also find the name of the chief researcher, this Dr. Jamie Campbell, sort of rings a bell with you a little bit, and you dig around a little bit. She's got a reputation as a little bit of a crackpot, but she's a crackpot that has been on a lot of high end projects with the Air Force and then in the private sector. So either she's got a lot of connections or there is more going on with her than meets the eye.
Definitely communicate that with the group
Mhm.
about Dr. Campbell.
All right, sounds good. Mr. Porter, what do you have planned?
I'm going to try to see what I can find on Breckenridge's server, see if I can get inside it, and take a look and see what their response seems to be to what's going on, or if they have any information or know anything about this.
Okay. Um, as far as the basic information you can find about Breckenridge, that's simple enough. They've got a lot of connections to other high-end contractors, particularly former Air Force, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. It's a subsidiary of a company called March Technologies, which is another sort of high-tech computer flight navigation kind of company. Um, it was founded by a guy named Curtis Schenck, who was a retired Air Force lieutenant general. He was a highly decorated fighter pilot in Vietnam, with a big old block of classified stuff in his military history. Um, as far as getting into the Breckenridge computers, um, go ahead and make me a computer science roll.
Okay.
This is, not the best environment to be doing this in a car. All right, 73 out of 80. So you're able to get, and honestly, it's probably going to take a little bit of social engineering. Call somebody, hey, I'm from IT. Did you just change your password? No, well, let me
Right.
reset it for you, kind of thing. But you're not able to get into anything particularly secure. But there is a record for this Holobeam array facility. They basically have half a dozen security guards on there, 2 on staff at any given time. Actually, there's probably 8 that go there, counting weekends and everything. But basically, at any given point, there's 2 people on site. They seem to have um, the very limited communication with the outside world. There's basically apparently a direct landline to the security offices there and to the head researcher's office, and that's it. So
I will
communication
make
is
note
very.
of those numbers. But
Mhm. And there's also a note in there that well, and it's actually it's not a number, it's a direct line, sort of like a
okay.
hotline. You
Yeah.
pick up and push one button for HQ and one button
Gotcha.
for
Gotcha. Gotcha.
um but you do also see a reference that they're, noting that their computer system is air gapped, meaning it's not actually connected to the internet in the
Right.
outside world. So
Right.
whatever they're doing is highly secure here.
Right. Okay.
What you finding behind that screen? Anything?
Well, they're taking appropriate precautions. They're going full DoD precautions with an air gap. No, there's no way their computers aren't connected to the internet.
Yeah,
Just to
okay.
make it
Good.
easy, and so I can't get into them through this. And these guys, I went to the security company. Uh, nothing groundbreaking yet. Hadn't found much. They have a direct line between them, but I'm guessing that probably with the on backup power, not sure that's going to be operational. So
So I got to ask all y'all. Any of you ever have this Miss Carpenter as your handler before?
never seen her.
Never worked with her.
I mean, to be
I'm used to
honest,
getting more info.
this is only my second trip.
Well, that's more trips than a lot of us have taken. So lots that ain't here. Okay. So I'm thinking, and you all tell me if you agree with this or not, but I think the doctor here makes the most sense as far as taking the lead, right? Because he is DOE,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would imagine I might step on myself pretty quick if I ask too many questions. So Doc, you feel good about doing that?
Kind of tightens up his tie, and yeah, absolutely.
All right.
We have 4 guns. How many of you are used to using them?
We have 5 guns.
5 guns.
Well, I'm obviously going to take one, and y- Chris, you may notice this before anybody else does, but when I take the gun, it's obvious, by the way I handle it and look at it before I kind of stash it in the small of my back, that I know what I'm doing with it. So
I also take one because
Okay.
I would rather not use my personal one.
Sure, that's makes sense.
Dr. Waugh does not jump right away to grab a gun, and if somebody insists that he stashes a gun in his toolbox or inspection gear, he'll do it, but he doesn't. He's not enthusiastic about it.
Okay. That pretty much answers my question. Just kind of seeing who's comfortable with it, who at least knows what they're doing, and who has no idea what they're doing with the gun.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Hua has maybe fired one at one point, but the other two seem like they've at least spent some time at the range.
Yeah. Doctor has a rape whistle and a stun gun.
Fair enough. All right. Anything else people want to do on the journey, or shall we arrive at the facility?
Good to arrive.
All right. So, with traffic and everything, because you're basically, if this is Chicago and this is like Michigan, you guys were kind of up here for the briefing, and the facility's kind of down here. It's kind of a wooded suburb area. The address that the GPS takes you is basically just kind of like a big block of woods that looks like a park or maybe an industrial park. There's no signage or any information. There's just kind of a driveway that turns into the woods.
I would Google Earth and just see what it looks like from an overview, if possible. Or
Actually, by an amazing coincidence, I actually have an overhead view
oh, of
of
course,
this,
Sweet.
which is hopefully going to be coming up.
it's a teeny weeny little picture on the left right now.
super tiny.
There it
Oh,
is.
there it goes.
Got
Yeah.
much bigger.
Yes. So yeah, there's not a lot there. It looks like there's this one main building and then these other little
That would
sub
be the
buildings or
array, I'm
sheds, or
guessing?
probably seems array like. Yeah. So again, almost all wood surrounding it, so no immediate neighbors. Um, but like I said, there's just a driveway turning into the woods with no signage or anything on it. So turn in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So you drive in, and after about 100 yards, it's it's paved. It's not like a dirt road or anything. But there is you come up to there's basically a closed steel gate in a big concrete wall that looks like it kind of encircles that whole area, the cleared area. The only sign next to it is a little thing that says authorized personnel only. There's a little gatehouse outside, and as you pull up, a Hispanic man, probably 40-ish, wearing a Breckenridge security uniform, steps out and says, "Can I help you folks?"
I kind of defer to the doctor here to let him do most of the talking. Kind of look at him.
Yeah. Doctor goes to roll down his window and
Mhm.
realizes it's on child lock, like, "Hey." But rolls it down, and
Mhm.
I imagine he's got a name tag, right?
Sure. Mhm.
And I say, Officer whatever,
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. My name is Dr. Wah. I'm with the inspection team with the DOE. Here's my credentials. We're here for what's going on here today. We should be on the list.
Sure. Can I get everyone's IDs, please?
And we all
Okay.
collect them, hand
You've
them.
all been through this before, so he heads into the gatehouse. You see him like jotting down the names and kind of picks up an old fashioned landline handset and punches a button. There's a brief conversation. As you're doing this, you can see that there are various carefully concealed cameras on the wall and on trees that are kind of getting this from all sides. You do also notice that the lights in the gatehouse and the computer and stuff in there are on, so presumably power has been restored, or this is considered emergency power. But he kind of nods and hangs up, comes back out, hands the licenses back, and says, "You folks are clear to proceed. Just park in up ahead on the right." And the gate slides back.
It's like
Um,
Miss Carpenter works pretty fast. I wasn't sure what we'd expect there.
Before he sends us on his way,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask the gentleman, be like, you got one of those service radios for inspection personnel and teams that we can have just in case we need to contact you?
We don't usually do that walkie-talkie. We have landlines with there's another security building inside, and anyone inside the facility can also contact us if you need anything.
You got a name I could talk to inside about that?
Well, it's Dr. Come on, Brian, get your notes together. Dr. Campbell is the head of the facility, so should be able to help you out.
Oh, she'd be able to issue the radio? All right. Fair enough.
I don't.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. And then you go another little short stretch of driveway before the trees kind of open up into this big clearing that looks a lot like it did from the air. It's a little gravel parking lot off to the side. The main building is, a single story. There's another little guard hut just like the one you passed outside the front door. And then the sort of what we're assuming is the array that you can kind of see off in the distance is 4 little concrete buildings, like maybe 10 feet square, with these long, what look like concrete tubes connecting them.
And Doctor, you have any idea what the hell that thing is?
Yeah, I've definitely read some research papers about this technology, and it just, at first glance, it seemed crazy. I don't know how they got it to work, and if it works at all, or what the hell happened. I kind of understand it, but it's not my realm of expertise.
I think we need to find this Miss Campbell.
Agreed.
All right. So you go ahead, park the car, and as you head over to the building, you see that a young woman, also in a Breckenridge uniform, steps out of the guardhouse there as you're coming and says, "Evening, gentlemen. I can just check your IDs real quick before we go in." And she
Any
clearly has like names written down from when the other one called, and she just sort of checks all against us and says, "All right, thank you very much." And as she's kind of gesturing towards the front door, you see it open, and someone that you will recognize from the documentation earlier as Dr. Jamie Campbell steps out. She's a thin African American woman, starting to get a little bit gray, and she just says, "Thank you, Karen. Gentlemen, would you like to come inside?" She,
Yeah.
yeah.
And lady.
Oh yes, I beg your pardon. The lighting here is very bad. Kyle, it was the beer that threw me off. Anyway, so yeah, she brings you inside, and at least where you are right now looks like a pretty standard office setup. There's like the front room has a couple couches and some fake plants and that sort of thing. There looks like there's a desk where a receptionist could be, but there's not currently one there. Just a couple, doors on the other side of the hallway. She leads you down the hall to one which, says, Dr. Campbell, director, on the door. And she invites you in to have a seat. She's only got a couple chairs, but so some of you may have to stand. So she says, "So how can I help you folks this evening?"
I look.
Why don't do we want to go ahead and take a break now? Give you guys a moment or two to.
Oh yeah, let's
Seems
take
like a
quick
good time. So
Yep, good 10-minute break, and then we're going to interrogate the shit out of this woman.
I can't wait to see it.
Ugh.
All right, we'll be back in 10 minutes.
All righty.
right, we're back.
All right.
All right.
So, when last we left our brave agents, you were sitting in the office of Dr. Jamie Campbell, who basically has asked how she can be of assistance this evening.
I assume we're all going to wait on you, Doc.
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Wah is gonna talk the lingo, say the buzzwords, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and basically let Miss Campbell know that Miss Campbell, we're actually here for an inspection of the facility. I was sent here by the DOE, and I don't know if you or if you have someone else that can kind of escort us around, show us what's going on. We've got some tests, we've got some things that we need to do on our end to make sure everything's above par, and may ask some questions. But other than that, hopefully we're in and out of here, and you won't notice we were ever here.
Absolutely. I find it interesting that the department chose our very first day of operations to do an inspection, but bureaucracy is the way it is. So yes, I can certainly have someone show you around the facility and hopefully get you what you need and be on your way without any difficulty.
Fantastic.
Ma'am, real quick. Looks like you're running on auxiliary power here.
Actually, no. Once you got into this building, everything seems to be fully powered.
Oh, okay.
So
So we got a call, ma'am, on the drive up that you had some sort of power surge or something.
yes, it shut us down for about half an hour. We haven't identified what caused it yet, but it was definitely something outside the facility.
First time it's ever happened.
Well, it's the first time we've powered up the array. We went online at 10 o'clock this morning.
And how's it going? Is it
Well, I mean, the data's very new. We haven't really had time to do a lot of analysis yet, but we're hopeful that we're going to have some really breakthrough information to sort of revolutionize some particle physics.
What time did you power on, ma'am?
10 a.m. Central.
All right, and when did the spike happen?
The power surge was just before 3:30.
Okay.
all right, so you've been
And
running a couple hours then?
and you're certain
Mhm.
it was exterior to the.
Yes, we had the engineers run through a check, and everything seems to be fine on our end. So,
What is that big array out there? What does it do?
well, she it looks like she's kind of mentally processing how best to describe that. Um, at a very high level, the one long building at what is the base of the T is basically generating a high powered laser, which is reflected to those different side buildings by mirrors, and then back again. And we analyze the differences in the responses, the signal time and the signal strength between those two mirrors, and we're looking for um, what we refer to as jitter in the fabric of space time.
Ah,
By pointing lasers at mirrors.
There's a lot more to it than that, obviously, but I'm assuming that none of you have a doctorate in particle physics.
uh, and all of these lasers. What's the draw for what's your electrical draw for that?
I don't have the specific information on hand. I'm sure, if I get Mr. Kozak here, he's the one I'll probably have showing you around. He can probably tell you more of the information. But we have a dedicated power line with Con Edison. There shouldn't be any problem with us providing with them providing the power.
Okay.
I assume we have full range at the facility, ma'am.
You have full range to the areas that aren't classified. The array buildings themselves and some of the computer systems are highly restricted. You'll certainly be able to have access to everything in this building. And if you have any questions or need any more information, just let us know and we'll be happy to provide what you need.
And
Alright,
who's classified those? Are those U.S. government classifications?
Yes, Department of Energy. There's some bits of Air Force proprietary technology in there as well.
So, like you've got our names and our credentials. I think maybe you want to take a minute and go double check our status on that.
And she kind of gives you this little smile and says, I understand that you're here to do analysis to make sure everything is working correctly. I can assure you that you are not cleared for the array itself.
That's fine. We're going to need a couple minutes. Can we? Where can we track you down?
I'll usually be either here or in the lab, which is down at the end of the hall.
All right, great. Well, if you give us a minute here, we'll check in with you at the lab.
Um, all right. Why don't you meet out in the reception room, and then I'll have Mr. Kozak come there. When you
Would I
guys-
be able to get access to your computer network?
Um, what part of it? We're not externally connected.
I
We don't have
understand that.
access to the internet.
That's why I need That's why I need access to your computer network internally.
You would have to talk to Ms. Tsang. She's going to be in the lab. She's our IT specialist, and she can either tell you what you need or get you connectivity if you need it.
While everybody's asking those questions, Dr. Wah is going to be observing the room. Are there whiteboards with data? Is there pictures of a cat hanging, saying "hang in there"? Like what's going on in this office? Is there any information? Is what I'm trying to get at on the wall that we could capture.
Her office is almost Spartan. She has like some photos of her at past jobs. There's like a newspaper article. There is she has her doctorate degree on the wall, but nothing really personal beyond that. Her desk is almost pathologically tidy. She's the kind of person that has the keyboard precisely placed and the mouse exactly 6 centimeters to the right, kind of thing. But there's very little personal stuff here.
What about bookshelf binders with labels, names, books, anything out of the ordinary that
There is a bookshelf that has a lot of texts, many of which you recognize, about quantum physics and subatomic particle theory and that sort of thing. None of it is terribly surprising to you if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, what they say they're doing here. It looks like they're maybe not the most recent stuff, but probably, as with a lot of other researchers, she has most of it online at this point.
Okay.
So a lot of it is a little bit older, and some of it's probably there for show.
So while we were having a conversation with her, I was mostly watching her and using human intelligence to try to read her and her response. Like, how does she feel about us? Is she annoyed that we're here? Like, did she give me subtle ticks as to like?
The impression you get from her, because you're pretty good at the human intelligence thing, the impression you get from her is that she's a little aggravated that you're here because she's got a lot going on. She doesn't seem like she's panicking to cover anything up, or she doesn't seem especially worried. She just kind of, you get the impression she would like to get you out of here so she can get on with her life. The one thing that struck you as a little bit odd is when she was talking about the data and saying, it's very early, we haven't really drawn any conclusions yet. You got the impression that there was probably something more there that she could have told you but did not.
Okay. All right. Well, I kind of look at everybody else. It's like it looks like we should carry along and let the doctor work. She seems very busy.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
I
it.
agree.
All right. And as always, if you need me for anything, just let me know.
No,
is there a business
we'll
card
do
holder
that.
on her desk that I can grab one?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Uh,
grab one, put it in my shirt.
Okay.
How is does she have it? You said she has a computer on her desk. I'm assuming it is directly wired into something on the wall.
It is plugged into the wall, yes.
Okay.
It looks like it was, it's on a lock screen, like a password protected screen when you came in, and she has
Mhm.
not unlocked it since.
That's fine.
So basically, she directs you guys to the reception room, which you walked through to get here. It's not hard to find. And she says, "I'll give you a few minutes, and then send Mr. Kozak along."
All right. So I need to tell you all something, and I had something weird happen before this all came down, and I had a bit of a screaming fit. I saw something kind of in a half dream or something, and I'm worried. It seemed to line up with when they went online, which is the only reason I'm bringing it up. I feel fine now, so I don't want you to worry none. But
I'm gonna stop you right there. I had the exact same thing. Like you kind of
what
started
time?
screaming.
What time?
It was right at 10 when they went online.
Immediately look at Porter and Mafang.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Why not?
All four of us.
With that, I would like you each to make me a sanity roll, just on general principles.
Damn you, Craig.
Monster.
Good job, Craig.
Damn it. The second
You gotta
character that I'm
admit,
gonna
it's a little weird.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, almost everybody is fine. Agent Garnet, you are going to lose 1 point just because that's a little too freaky. The rest of you, it's certainly odd, but it's okay. It's not the weirdest thing that's happened to you.
So here's what I'm thinking. One, did Carpenter know? And didn't mention it to us because I'm not a huge fan of her. I can tell you that right now. I don't like what we're walking into. And two, I think I'm going to maybe step out to the van and grab one of those Geiger counters and just take a quick pick see, because I don't know about you, but I'm getting the feeling that Miss Carpenter here, or Miss Campbell here, may not know.
She
I-
knows more than she's letting in. When she was
Oh,
talking
she
about
is.
data, she wasn't saying something. They were getting more data than she was, or they were getting some data about something that she didn't want to talk about.
So, Mr. Porter, there, you think if you got your hands on that data, you'd be able to sort it out, or how about you, Doc?
I don't know about the data because I don't know what kind of data they're taking. But what I would like to do is look at the lab notes of the researchers where they are writing down their thoughts about that data. That probably be a little better, a little easier to understand for us, but at least for me, at least.
I'm going to run out and
Nobody's
get.
a
Oh, I'm
nuclear
sorry. Go ahead.
physicist, are they?
No.
Okay.
Which is odd, right? That our handler
Yeah.
wouldn't put a physicist on this. But
Actually, Dr. Hua is a physicist.
Yeah.
Oh,
I believe. I know you have a pretty high physics score. I'll put it that way.
Well, I have
nuclear
a
engineering.
physics score of 60, but that
Sure.
still seems a little
You're not a professional physicist.
right.
so I'm going to run out.
Oh yeah, nuclear physics. Yeah.
I'm going to run out and check the Geiger counter. I'm going to bring
Okay.
it back with me if I see something.
Yeah, it's normal background radiation, nothing that you would expect unusual in a
So I
in a
come back and
major
tell
city.
everybody that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do we
Before
think?
you go out and grab that, I just ask you to grab my bag of my inspection tools and whatnot, which has a Geiger counter in it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those things aren't real long range, I don't think, are they?
No.
Not really.
Yeah.
So
They
right as
were
you
put
guys
in
are
the
kind of-
bag. That's all I know.
Yep, exactly. So right around the time you guys are all kind of putting your extra gear on and that sort of thing, a guy kind of leans in around the corner, knocks on the door frame, says, "Hi, I'm guessing you're the Department of Energy team."
Yes, we are.
All
You
right, sir.
are here to give us a
Um,
tour?
Yeah, Evan Kozak. Nice to meet you all. He's kind of a wiry, skinny, stereotypically nerdy looking guy. He's kind of comes up and offers to shake everybody's hand and says, "All right, well, I guess we can give you the quick tour first, and you can let me know what you're interested in." Let me move you guys over to the map here so you have an idea of what's going on. So you guys have basically been in here, and Evan, if you will let me move him to the right layer, is roll 20.
Yeah, it must be your internet because I can see him.
Okay.
Oh, there
it
he
is.
comes. Here he is.
Yep. All right. Cool. All right. So anyway, it says so. Yeah, I guess follow me.
Your boss said you might be able to get me on that you would be able to plug me into your network.
Oh, computer wise, no, that would be Miss Tsang. She's in the workshop. We'll get to her in a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm fine if we head there first.
okay, if you want, sure. And he basically starts walking you down the hall and kind of stopping at each door as he goes. This one here is where Dr. Takagawa and I are. We're the engineers on the project. Um, this next one here on the left is where the researchers are. That's Dr. Black and Dr. Klinger.
So
Um,
so the power surge you had this morning.
mm-hmm. Afternoon,
What?
but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, what happened exactly?
Power went out. I'm not sure how much else to tell you. We had the backup generator that kicked on right away, but the array itself, of course, went offline. Was about half an hour or so, I guess.
Mm.
And then, once the power came back, we, checked everything, recalibrated the array, turned it back on, and it's been running fine ever since.
How
Yeah,
long does
now,
that take to reboot that system?
Um, well, once we recalibrated everything, which took about half an hour, but after that, it starts up in a minute or so.
Oh, okay. So pretty quick.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
now, Dr. Campbell said you guys figured out that surge was not related to the facility here. It came from the outside. Is that accurate?
Yeah, everything we had here seemed to be fine.
So I'm curious to know how you guys suss that out. So how did
Well,
you
I mean, if it was
determine it was
something
not something here?
if it was something local, we're assuming that we would have had some, some fuses or capacitors burnt out or that kind of thing. And instead, it just like we looked like the power just, we lost power from outside. It's not like we shorted anything out.
So no offense, it sounds like you're assuming. You don't know.
I mean, I have not seen any indication that anything has caused a problem
All
here.
right, we're going to probably want to check in on that just to verify it, to give you peace of mind. And just to be clear, we don't want to be here neither. So, the sooner
Yeah, I
we
mean,
get to what we need to get to, the sooner we'll be out of your hair and let you do your fancy stuff here. But
yeah, no, I'm
um,
not trying to
yep,
cause any
I just
problems.
I just want you to know that we're trying to get out of your hair. So
Sure.
anything you can do to help us is appreciated. The sooner we get what we need, the sooner we can get the hell out of here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's keep going then. So yeah, the store on the right over here, that's the restroom. Dr. Campbell's office, I guess you've seen. We got a storage closet here. And then he leads you into this room on the far right, which is the lab. Um, and I need to put someone on a new level again to make her visible. So basically, it's kind of like it looks on the map. It's a long, conference table with a bunch of laptops and other equipment set up on it. Um, there is a big, what looks like a computer rack off in the corner down here. And sitting next to it, or sitting at a laptop next to it, is a young Asian woman. Looks maybe 30-ish. She's kind of staring intently at her laptop and occasionally tapping a few keys and looking at it and making a note of something and tapping a few more keys.
Can I see over her shoulder what she's looking at?
If you go down there, sure.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Oops. That's not what I wanted.
Don't draw pictures.
I like drawing pictures. Leave me alone.
I think seeing him moving down there while
Mhm.
he makes that move, I would approach from the other direction and try to get her attention and
Okay.
try to engage her in conversation while he is looking at her screen.
I see what you're saying. All right, so you're coming down over here to have a look, and you're coming over here to have a chat.
Yes.
And the rest of you, I guess, are looking around or talking with Evan. So she, you come up. She's kind of, like I say, sitting there very focused. You get the impression that she's kind of aware that you're here, but she isn't actually looking at you. She's kind of,
Mhm.
focused on whatever it is that she's doing.
Excuse me, Miss?
Yes.
You one of the researchers here?
I'm an IT. And
Oh, okay, you're IT. So
Mhm.
what there have you had any issues today with the surge with the because I know sometimes power surges can cause a lot of systems to go haywire. So I'm sure you're kind of busy. Is there
Yeah,
anything strange that you've noticed?
well, we had to reboot afterwards. Uh, it was kind of interesting though, and she hasn't looked at
Mhm.
you once during all of this, and uh, you're there behind her, and you have a feeling you could have just stomped up on both feet, and she probably wouldn't have turned to look. Um, but she's like, it's weird that the sensors were actually picking up some very low level signals, even while the array was offline. So either there was some kind of extra sources leaking into the sensors, and those are so isolated that shouldn't happen, or there was some damage on the sensors that were picking things up. But it was very weak to compared to what we were getting from the full array, but they were there. So and then Evan Evan did a recalibration after it came up, and everything's been running fine since then.
Okay,
I- I'm
interesting.
I'm going to grab the Geiger counter
Hmm.
out of doctor's bag there, and I'm going to
Hmm.
walk over to Miss Garnet. Hey, uh, Miss Garnet, I think maybe we should do just a quick body scan of everybody. If you want to start here with this nice lady, ma'am, if you don't
Sure.
mind standing up and maybe stepping over here, we just going to routine just to make sure you've been here in the facility, the whole time when that thing booted up, and Miss Garnet here. Just wants to just give you a quick rundown if you don't mind stepping over this way.
And she kind of does a and stands up
It'll
and
only
steps
take a second.
about 2 feet away from the computer and continues watching the screen the whole time. She sort of glances for half a second to see what the thing is that you're scanning her with, and then immediately snaps back to the screen.
Yep, ma'am,
What's
just
your
a little bit more this way, ma'am. We got to kind of get you in the middle of the room, away from anything else that could interfere with the with the readings.
Okay. um Agent Porter, while they're doing this, you can look at the screen, and basically there is there's a lot of data flooding into this system. I mean, it's got one of those classic, Hollywood movie windows with just numbers streaming past as fast as you can see.
Oh, it's the
And there's
Matrix.
yeah, exactly. Then there's a little graphing thing that looks like it's mostly flat, but is showing like this pattern of spikes every so often. Um,
Is there a
it's
pattern to those spikes, or is it just
it looks pretty random.
okay?
Some are a lot weaker, some are stronger, but they're fairly widely spaced apart.
And I'm trying, without saying anything, Brian,
Mhm.
I'm trying to keep eye contact with Chris, trying to make sure Kelly has time, and if Kelly needs more time, I'm gonna help Chris tie her up a little bit more. So I'm trying to balance the situation if at all possible.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that Kelly has the time he needs.
Yeah, I
I,
think
I
one
just
of the main things we'd want to know is, and like my character wouldn't necessarily know this, but your character probably would know a little bit more. It's like, what data are they looking at? We won't be able to tell from
right.
the data because we just don't have enough.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
we
it's
want to
just
know
numbers
what they're
here.
looking at.
Right.
Yeah. And also any other clues that might be on the screen, like file name, system name, program name, anything else that might be up there, or
A
Um,
folder
the
on the desktop that says top secret.
top secret, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Notepad
Um,
that says
password
password.
taped to
Yeah.
the yeah.
the one thing that you notice, in addition to because the data is coming in are like, main sensor, satellite 1, satellite 2, nothing very descriptive. But there is kind of hidden under one of those main windows what looks like a little, almost like an old text adventure game kind of dialogue prompt, with a window that's just labeled DEE.
Is that a partial of a word, or is it?
It looks like that's the whole word. It's our
It's the
name.
whole word. Okay.
Um, this probably comes as no surprise to anyone, but she does not seem to be radioactive.
What?
That's
I
good.
know.
That's good news
Good thing we
for all of
checked.
us.
Hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Dr. Waugh hears this whole detecting something while the power was out and not knowing what it was, and looks at the engineer standing next to him. It's like, what can you tell me about the signal that continued when the power was out?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's odd. Like Fei was saying, it almost looks like the sensors weren't isolated enough that they were picking something up from outside, but it's following the same pattern that we're getting from the array. So I guess maybe something when the power went knocked the sensors a little bit askew. I recalibrated everything after before we brought it back online, to make sure it's okay there. But I don't have an explanation for it yet.
I
We're gonna
imagine
have
this
to.
is all logged in the system.
Oh yeah,
Mind if I have access to that to determine if there's any concern for human health and safety?
um, and he kind of looks around, in a sort of very, you didn't hear this from me kind of thing. But he says, well, this is a lot of the data that's going on here is somewhat classified. But so you're wanting to take a look at the data
Yeah.
that we picked up today.
Sooner
Um,
we get what we get, sooner we're out of your hair.
sure. Um, and so he goes over to that the rack against the wall, and you can see that it's got like one little section of it is open, and there's a little monitor and a keyboard and a microphone sticking out. Um, and he says, "D, show me the main graph of accumulated data pulses today." And the screen sort of fills up with like a larger version of the graph that you were seeing on her monitor. And a voice from these kind of speakers that are up in the corner of the room says, um, "So far, we have tracked 7 significant data pulses. Um, each is approximately 65 minutes and 47 seconds apart. I've graphed their relative magnitude here. We have had 31 minutes and 8 seconds of downtime due to an unexpected power outage."
So
Uh,
we're gonna turn to the engineer and go, who's D?
Oh, that's what we call the computer system here. It's part of the serial number, the department designation.
My fault. Who just talked to us?
It's the computer. It has a voice synthesizer in there.
Is it an AI?
No. Well, Kozak says no. Sang just kind of smirks a little bit, but doesn't say anything. Are
So
we
that
done
was the
here?
machine talking, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it has natural language processing and a pretty good voice synthesizer.
Gotcha. So our computer expert over here, Mr. Porter, is probably going to need to. Where can we find this machine, and how can we connect to it? We just want to go make sure everything's square and square. Square and
Well,
square.
square and square. It's a computer. It's all squares. um, and it's like, well, I mean, as far as communicating with the system, you've got the keyboard and stuff here, and but again, it also accepts voice input. As far as connecting external systems to it, that's pretty classified.
Okay, but I mean, we can have Mr. Porter here just log in real quick and kind of poke around. Have it turn its head and cough.
He
We just want to make
he
sure
doesn't have
everything's
to
good.
log in. He can just talk to her or type if that's
All
easier.
right, all right. Now the other question I have for you is, you said the thing wasn't working, but you're still getting signals, right? I mean, you're not
Yeah,
real sure why.
phantom pulses, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want you to do me a favor real quick. I want you to imagine this is a Steven Spielberg movie and anything is possible, right? What do you think it could have been? Just pretend anything's possible.
Um,
Wild guess.
I honestly don't know. Like I said, it's probably either. I mean, it's possible that there was some kind of extra feedback, some kind of echoes, that the data system was picking up from the earlier pulses. And Sang kind of pokes up at this point and says, "D has so many redundant levels of error checking, it's not going to pick something up. If the sensors were sending that data in, it's because the sensors were picking up that data."
Well, what data is this picking up? Like when you say data, what is it picking up?
And she's like, "Can I go back to my machine?"
Yes,
Are we done?
you're
Okay,
fine.
cool. And so basically, she goes over there and pulls up um, this this graph, and basically she says, so each of these pulses is about a second long, starts at a very low frequency, and then goes up basically logarithmically to the point where we can't sense it anymore. So it's just like a boop. And I say that because we've experimented with having these, rendered in audio format in case that makes it more useful.
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked your associate there. I want to get an understanding of what's possible, right? So what are the possible explanations of what you're seeing? It
I
sounds like
mean,
you don't think it's outside.
no, 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 no. It's definitely something that is coming from the sensors in the array.
And what does that mean? What's possible?
Well, that's what this whole facility is here to find out. What's possible. Fundamentally, what we're trying to do is we're trying to pick up jitter is the term we use in the fabric of what we call reality, because the theory is that what we consider real, things that we can touch and sense and that sort of thing, is actually just sort of a three-dimensional holographic projection. And what we're trying to do is pick up little, the sort of vibration at the very low subatomic level that would help us find out what that is. But instead of the random white noise that we were expecting to find, we've been finding these patterns of pulses, and we don't know what it means yet. We've just started, but it's we're trying everything we can do to try and identify it. We've tried the audio pattern. We've tried graphing it on different scales. We don't know what it is yet, but it's super exciting.
Okay, I'm glad it's exciting. That's wonderful. Is it making you feel like better or worse about your theory about the fabric of time and space and folding and tearing and
I mean, it's not my theory. I'm just here to run the computers, but I mean, it's. I mean, I've been the researchers have been in that all day. They're super excited about what we're finding. It's like most great stuff in science, you don't know what it means until you have time to dig into it, but it's definitely something new and different.
who's real excited?
Oh gosh, Dr. Campbell, Dr. Black, mostly, even Dr. Ishigawa. He's more on the engineering side, but he was still really interested
Sure,
in it.
sure. Where can we find Mr. Black?
He's probably in his office. It's next door to Dr. Campbell's.
So I'm going to kind of walk up to you, Nick, and just kind of nudge you, like,
I think I might want to stay here with the talk to her a little more.
Yeah.
Uh, is it possible for me to get a string of this, just all your data, but I'll delete it, before we leave. It's not. I just want to take a look at it holistically from beginning to end, and see if we can suss out some sort of pattern to it.
Hmm. Um,
I mean, these guys, their understanding of computers is a little.
I mean, you certainly get the impression that she is at some level bursting to talk about this stuff.
Right,
But she also, especially because there's other people here, she
right.
seems a little nervous about it. She says, "I'll tell you what, um, you can use that laptop. I can't give it to you on any kind of removable media or anything like that.
Okay,
But you
okay.
can certainly use that machine if you want to do some analysis on
Sure, sure.
it." Okay. And she
Yeah, you
says,
guys go on and continue on. I'll be here.
Miss Garnett, you want to come with us while we go talk to Mr. Black?
Yeah, let's go do that.
"All right. So you're staying here, and the rest of you, um, Kozak takes you along, knocks on the door. The label on this one is, Dr. Black, Dr. Ishikawa, or Takagawa, excuse me. And you knock the door, it opens up. Um, and inside is someone that you will soon be introduced to as Dr. Black. He is kind of a salt and pepper hair, a little bit on the pudgy side. Um, and when he sort of opens the door and sees you, he looks a little bit startled for just a second. And says, "Hi, how can I help you folks?"
Dr. Black, here you're super excited, and we're from the Department of Energy. We're coming up here for a normal inspection, but sounds like you had a little bit of a crazy thing going on. Big day, I hear.
Well, yeah, it's the first day. First day, very exciting. Please come on in. He invites you in. Kozak says, I'm gonna head back to head back to my office if you don't need me for anything. So just holler if I can help with anything."
Will do.
Appreciate the help.
All right, so he heads off. And Dr. Black, basically, his office, this is obviously a two-person office, and there's basically two desks, one of which is extremely tidy, and one of which is covered with papers and books and napkins and coffee stains and everything else. And that's the side that Dr. Black sits down at. And he says, "Yeah, so I don't know how much you know about what we've got going on here, but basically, um, we're trying to find out some fundamental information about the definition of reality and how much of space itself is actually an illusion. It's We're basically gathering data with the lasers out back. The computer system analyzes it and presents it in sort of a human comprehensible format, and I mean, it's
So,
amazing.
this laser, it's just a tool for observation. It's not anything that would cause instability, would cause and trigger any additional data to be collected from its operation.
I mean, there was probably, some kind of a glitch, either a surge or a loss of data right when it happened. But yeah, no, there shouldn't have been anything while it was down. Um, I heard that we were getting some little phantom pulses in there, but it doesn't seem to be anything that was, has had any long-term effects. Everything needs to be running fine now.
Okay.
So, Kozak,
Where's the bathroom? It was across the hall.
Yeah, just across the hall from here.
Okay, yeah, I need to hit that real fast. I gotta
Okay.
step out.
Okay.
so your friend Kozak says that you're super excited about what you're reading so far.
So we were looking for basically white noise, random, jitters confirming what we're expected to see from space. But almost immediately we started picking up these coherent high and low frequency signals in patterns, and patterns and sounds. It's like we've got these low frequency pulses, and then we've got these high frequency, this high pitch stuff. It's almost like music, but uh, there's no damage to the system. There's no interference from the environment. We are looking at the underlying fabric of reality.
And
Now,
what's
was
that
this
telling you?
That reality isn't what we thought it was.
is this the same pattern continue when the power shut down and it was just
There were
a
some
lower
little patterns from that. Yeah, apparently.
is it the same pattern, just less signal?
Yeah, just much lower amplitude. So while that's going on, where are you actually going instead of the restroom? Or maybe you just go to the restroom. I'm not here to judge.
I don't actually have to go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna start looking around to see where people, if anybody's moving quickly, where they're going to and from. Because I'm guessing if this is their first day of operating, the more engineering side of things is going to be wanting to physically be close to the device and be.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna try to find who is that as far as in the facility and see if I can follow them and kind of get in that area. Not being, stealthing around a little bit, but if I see anybody, I'm gonna play the oh, I'm lost, I got turned around kind of thing, and more
Okay.
do that game as opposed to try to dive behind something.
Yeah, there's actually not many people in the halls. It
Mhm.
looks like people are mostly doing what they're doing from their offices or maybe back in the other facility. You do, as you're waiting out there, see Dr. Campbell comes out of her office, just kind of looks over, nods. Is everything okay?
Yes, just fine. We have our group has separated a little bit, so I'm just relaying some information.
Good, good. Saves time.
Yep.
And she kind of nods and heads into the computer lab room. Those of you who are talking to Dr. Black, what else you got for him?
I'm being observant to what's all over the desk. It's a chaotic mess, but I'm sure there's an organization system to it. There's got to be exposed information, data, something worth observing.
Yeah, I
I
mean
imagine.
he's got stacks of folders and printouts and post-it notes and reference books held open with other reference books on top of them, kind of thing. Um, why don't you give me a perception type roll? And I think that is actually
Search.
things.
No.
Alertness. There we are. No, search would be better. Search would be more appropriate.
Ooh. All right, let's try it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's a mess. The trash can, the stuff to overflowing, all the books and stuff, but you don't see anything immediately that leaps out at you as, particularly noteworthy.
So, Doc, when you say that the highs and lows are telling you that reality isn't what we thought it would mean, I want you to pretend I'm just some country bumpkin and I don't understand none of this. Can you explain to me what that means when you say you don't think reality is what we think it is?
So we would expect uh um all right. Leaving aside, all right, big picture. He looks like he's trying really hard to figure
Everybody
out a way
loves
to
big
dumb this
pictures in
down.
this office.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so it's kind of like the surface of this desk. He kind of shoves a couple papers aside and rubs his fingers along the flat surface of the desk. It feels smooth and solid and pretty much relatively continuous. But if we look down at the subatomic level, it's very impossibly tiny particles all moving and bouncing around each other, and it's just the reaction of them as groups that make this feel like a solid object to us. But what we're seeing from the sensor is that at the very tiniest level, um, it's like those objects that should be just randomly moving actually do have a pattern to them after all, that doesn't have anything to do with the physical surface is like. It's like there's another level of organization to the universe that we've never had any clue about before. And Dr. Hua, the more you listen to this, the less goddamn sense it makes. So either these guys have discovered something Nobel Prize worthy, or they are all full of shit.
Yes, so, Dr. Black, I'm trying to comprehend this, and I get some of it. I'll be honest with you, I'm not getting all of it, but so let's say obviously you're super excited about this, right? The highs and lows are telling you all kinds of stuff,
Mhm.
and everything's make believe and all. But where are we headed with this, right? So I'm trying to understand, when this is done, all the data keeps coming in pretty and everything for you. Where are we ended up? Like, what's the end game here for all this experimenting?
I mean, we don't even know. I mean, so many of the things that mankind has discovered have been done by accident. I mean, this could, like, if we could find a way to take these patterns and manipulate them, we could, I don't know, we could open doorways in space to teleport objects or even people through them. We could have like a visual opening into other places, possibly even other times. We could actually contact alternate dimensions if there actually are any. We don't know anything about that yet. This is the first day of a new age of scientific discovery.
Okay, and to be clear, you ain't trying that yet. What you're
No,
just
we
reading right
wouldn't
now.
even know how to start. We're just gathering
Okay.
data. We're
Well,
not doing anything. We're just looking and writing down what we see. That's the start of science.
Dr. McFang, can I just borrow you just for a second? Dr. McFang?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Dr. Black,
I was
we'll
like,
be right back.
Hua.
Just need a
Mhm.
moment.
Dr. Hua. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, listen, Doc, this is over my head. But what is all this stuff? What is this telling us? And I still haven't. I mean, I don't get a sense that we're. I mean, other than bringing tinfoil in here, I don't know why we're here.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff here seems ludicrous and far fetched. Unless they truly had a breakthrough of some kind, um, these guys are quacks. Unless there's something else going on, which maybe we need to start looking out elsewhere and try to get this full tour. We need to get outside this building and see what's going on. Maybe there's something more to this that we're just something's not adding up, but nothing's obvious yet.
All right, hey, Dr. Black, we do appreciate it. May have a couple more questions for you because I'm kind of slow, so I appreciate everything you've been explaining.
Oh, absolutely.
And hope that reality is something that's exciting for you, I guess.
It's going to be amazing. Meanwhile, back in the computer lab. Yeah. Ms. Tsang has kind of given you access to a laptop. She kind of goes over, unlocks it, just tells the computer vocally to send the data over to you.
Okay.
I don't like this D thing.
I've put the a summary of the data in the Roll20 chat, but basically it's just comparison of when these pulses came in and roughly how strong they are. As you're starting to look through it, 'cause like I said, the time between them is extremely precise and consistent, but the level of them kind of varies around a lot. And a little dialogue window pops up on the screen that you're looking at labeled D, and it says, "I've reinterpreted the signals with greater accuracy. Would you like to review them and tell me whether they are clearer?"
Yes.
Okay. So she and then it also says, "Would you like audio analysis?"
Yes.
Okay.
12
So
tone and 8 tone.
I need you to restate that.
Can you do a 12 tone scale?
The data does not support that.
Okay. Give me what it supports.
Okay, cool. And so she brings up a little graph, and also plays a little audio thing along with it. And I apologize, this sound can be a bit annoying. If it comes up, that is.
Oh.
That's an accurate description.
And I don't know how much of it you're picking up from here, but it's basically some very high pitched changing notes and some low kind of heavy bass pulses at the
Yeah.
bottom of it. Doesn't seem to be an obvious pattern. But I would like you to make me a sanity roll if you would be so kind.
Of course you would.
That was not expected. Yes.
Very good.
Nice.
Just
all right.
music.
So just 1 point of sanity from that.
Oh,
'Cause
good. Because you're
it's-
just wearing me down slowly. I see the
Exactly,
plan.
exactly. And it's really weird because whatever is going on with the audio, even though it doesn't, it can't like you say, all right, that sound corresponds to that peak or that sort of thing. It's there's definitely some kind of synchronization, and the best I can think of is it's almost like the audio is providing kind of a 3D effect on the data. And
Mhm.
it does seem clearer, although you still can't really articulate what it means.
I have a jump drive in my bag that has some
Mhm.
software on it that might help with crypto analysis.
That
sort
is
of
certainly a
things.
thing that you would normally possess.
So I would slide that into the computer and try to run that software.
All right. So I would like to ask you to give me let us call that a stealth roll, but I am going to
Oh,
give you plus 40% because she is not even looking at what you're doing. She's looking at the computer.
okay. I cannot.
No, you cannot.
D ratted me out, jerk.
No, honestly,
I
it's
probably put it in upside down and then tried.
well, I
all
mean, they're
sorts of
USB ports. It's a
Yeah,
proof that
yeah,
the universe is
yeah.
five-dimensional. Because, yeah, so basically, actually, she doesn't notice at all. Um, but uh, actually, let me put it this way: you put it into the USB port, and the
Mhm.
computer does not appear to recognize or interact with it in any way. The
Fat
port may
32.
have been disabled.
Hmm. Is there another port?
Yep,
I try that one.
it has also been disabled. It's like they have computer security in mind.
Yes. Excuse me.
Hmm?
I'm trying to run a program here.
Oh yeah, no, we don't allow any external.
Well, this is a program that I think might be able to solve this problem.
And she kind of looks over. She looks over at you for the first time,
Mhm.
um, and she says, um, "I'm sure you have great software, but D is a crystal matrix quantum supercomputer. It's running at almost 100 exaflops per second. Um, now, John probably treats that as a bunch of gibberish. However,
I get the gist.
yeah, no, but the thing is, Porter is pretty
Mhm.
good at keeping up on computer stuff. Like 2 weeks ago, a Chinese company set the new supercomputer speed record with a refrigerated building size supercomputer, and this is apparently 100 times faster than that in a single rack. So either she is absolutely full of shit, or she's saying the numbers wrong, or this thing is decades ahead of cutting edge.
Where did you get this computer?
Uh and she kind of looks around and sees nobody else is in here right now. Um I mean, this is top of the line military stuff. It all you remember all the UFO nonsense they had going back at Nellis Air Force Base,
Mhm.
the Air 51. Well, that was all a cover up for the incredible work that the IT techs at Nellis were doing. This thing is unbelievably fast, and it's smart. It's not just processing the data, but it's teaching itself how to process it better. It's
We're
rewriting
so
its own
fucked.
algorithms to get more precise. I mean, if you want something that
And
would
it's
turn into
listening to us right now.
yeah, she's not. It's fine. It's fine. All I'm saying is, if you want to look for what Skynet is going to be, but I mean, of course, it's not going to be like that. But I'm just saying, this is an
That wasn't the most comforting thing I've heard recently.
oh, it's a joke. Come on. And she basically starts rattling off more increasingly outlandish tech specs on
Yeah.
this thing. Um,
And
and
you've
then
seen this, and this computer is in that rack right there.
yeah,
Hmm.
um, and at about this point, the door opens, and Dr. Campbell comes in. At which point, Sang immediately shuts
Yep.
up. Says, "How's everything going?"
Data is very interesting. Uh, and your computer D seems to be handling it pretty well.
It's an excellent system. But yeah, so hopefully you can get everything you need from here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's going to take a bit longer, but
Sure, that's fine.
yeah.
And she comes in and sort of sits down next to the computer at the other side of you
Hmm.
and starts typing in some stuff there.
Okay. So D, have you can you continue to work this out? I mean, have you been working uh I try to throw out some ideas of just other. I just don't know if this computer, while of course computers can do great things with great speed, but
Mm-hmm.
they have to still have it programmed into them. They have to have
Mm-hmm.
something to go
Mhm.
on. So
Mhm.
I do a few things to see if this computer actually understands crypto analysis.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it actually replies to most of the things you replied as, yes, no significant data found. Yes, we tried that, no significant data
Mhm.
found. Processing still underway. But yeah, it sounds like it is whoever programmed it is clearly very familiar with cryptographic techniques.
Okay. And have you used the Sathagawa method?
Uh, I'm not familiar with that process.
Why don't you try and look it up?
It is not in my internal data stores, and I do not have access to the wider internet.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They keep you on a chain.
Jesus. Dr. Campbell kind of looks over at you, says, "Do you really need to be interacting directly with the computer system that way? I mean, you should have access to everything you need
I'm
here."
sorry. It's so hard to, with that voice, it's hard to remember it's a computer sometimes. Do you guys ever
Please
have that
try.
problem? You don't have that problem with it?
No.
Oh. Well,
And she just kind of stares at you for a moment.
yeah.
Shall we play a game?
All right. So while all of that is going on, the rest of the team you have regrouped outside Dr. Black's office.
Yeah,
Okay.
my plan is to head back to where Kelly is, unless the two of you have better ideas.
There's not many people here. They're not really. What was about the workshop? They said they were going to show us the workshop. We haven't seen that.
Good call. Let's
Good
see
point,
if we can
yeah.
get someone to point us that way.
Okay. So I mean,
Mr. Kozak, where's our tour guide?
yeah, he's actually coming out of the office next door, and says, "How's it going?"
Fran, I am probably going to leave the computer rooms. I'll
Okay.
sum things up and go look for these guys to tell them the frightening piece of data I have just found out.
Okay, sounds good. You guys are able to regroup in the hall, and yeah, so Kozak is
Yep.
how's everything going?
Yeah, we're doing good, Mr.
Wonderful.
Kozak. I think we're missing or we've got what we need or here. You mentioned a few other areas that you can show us around. Let's continue our tour.
Yeah, sure. He points to the kitchen, which is a typical office kitchen with a microwave and a Keurig machine and a fridge. And then another storage closet over here, and then down at the far end is the workshop. And you open that up, and it's basically a lot of sort of machining equipment, workbenches, various electronic and mechanical spare parts. Um, Also, some generic office equipment. There's a box of wireless mice, and a case of AA batteries and that sort of thing. You also notice that there are a couple of what Dr. Hua would probably recognize as portable clean rooms. So
Mm.
basically, if you're going into like an electronics area or something like that, that will get all the dust out, there are clean room suits that you would wear to go in. This is basically kind of like a miniature portable airlock that you would put in front of a door for some place that has to be really, highly contaminant free.
Is there anybody in there or anything observable that we could see through the Mylar film?
No, they're actually they're kind of collapsed now. So
collapsed.
basically, you'd
Okay.
have to basically go up and open them up and pressurize them to get them to
Okay.
do anything. He says, not much going on here."
So I'm gonna act startled real quick and reach for
Mhm.
my phone and say, hey, I need to take this call. I'm just gonna step outside because I see a door
Sure.
leading to the outside. I'll be
Mhm.
right back.
Okay.
And yeah, Miss Garnet, just in case, I need a couple information from you as well. Do you mind stepping out with me?
Yeah, sure.
I just we
Okay.
need to connect with the office. It's been an hour.
Okay. All right. So off you go.
And I would like if there's options for doors, I'd like to go doors towards the array.
Okay, fair enough. That would be this one out back. So you step outside the back door and you can kind of see the array buildings in the distance from here.
So Miss Garnet, I don't know enough whether like let's pretend everything is kosher, right? Like everything's good.
The
Is it
best way to
stupid?
do is just start walking and don't just look like you know what you own the place.
Following your lead?
So I kind of just like take lead, obviously watching to avoid people if possible, but just
Mhm.
kind of acting like I own the place when you walk.
Yeah. All right. So you guys are heading over to the array
Mhm.
buildings. All right. You don't see anybody else out here at the moment. Um, it looks like everybody's staying in their offices and doing whatever. But yeah, there's basically, kind of like I said before, there's the three sort of 10 by 10 by 10 concrete cubes with these concrete tubes connecting them. And then the sort of the base of the T is a longer building, similar structure, maybe 20, 30 feet long. Each of these things has a single door on it. And the doors next to them have all sorts of warnings, warning high intensity laser equipment, clean room access only. The doors look like they're key card locked.
Mhm. Okay. I'm gonna look around just for general security measures besides like the key card. Like, are there cameras pointed at here and anything like
There are cameras covering the doors.
Okay. So, did I see, as far as the key cards, would it be safe to assume that's like the badges that I saw people wearing? Like a lot of times they have like a lanyard
Yeah,
badge, something like
presumably it's
that.
got like an RFID tag in the badge.
Okay. So I probably turn back around and be like, well, I don't think we're going to be able to get in. That's too sophisticated, but I can maybe pocket one somebody's lanyard if I bump into them.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. Here's what I'm thinking, Miss Garnet, and I want to run this past you, and you tell me whether this makes sense. I'm thinking of getting that burner phone off of Mr. Porter.
Hmm.
I'm thinking of calling our handler, and I'm thinking of telling her everything's all clear and we're heading out. Everything's good, and we feel comfortable about it all. Unless she knows something more, with it, we're just going to wrap this up. Because I'm telling you right now, she didn't tell us everything, and I think that if we make it sound like we're dumb or didn't see nothing, that she might spill some more. How you feeling?
That sounds like a good plan. I also, like, honestly, nothing looks out of the norm here other than the coincidence with the screaming and the timing of that. That was wrong. Like, why were we the ones that affected by that
Exactly.
directly?
Exactly. And depending on what Miss Carpenter tells me, I think I might confront her with that situation and the fact that we have talked to each other and know what's going on. So,
Hmm.
all right, I'm gonna run in. You're welcome to come with me. I'm gonna run in and get that phone and step right back out.
All right, I think I'm gonna try to bump into somebody.
All right. Meanwhile, those of you in the workshop, anything particularly doing, just kind of looking at stuff.
Looking at stuff, keeping the time occupied. It was clear to us uh,
Hmm.
that was an exit strategy, not a legitimate call from
Sure, sure, sure.
our handler. Um, and so I'm just trying to keep time and asking questions about electronics and shit that I'm seeing on the walls and on the
Yeah,
workbenches.
yeah. He's happy to tell you, far more than you ever wanted to know about this equipment and how it's set up. The one thing you notice about him is while he's, when he's not talking and he's hanging around, he has this habit of he hums to himself, which is not in and of itself unusual, but it's this very weird kind of atonal, arrhythmic thing. It's like either he's trying to hum a song and he's absolutely tone deaf, or he's just kind of humming random notes at random times. Um, it's odd.
Um,
Well, wait, what is that
being
song you keep?
yeah,
Hmm, sorry.
What is that song? That song?
Oh no, I hum to myself sometimes. I don't
Oh,
think it's anything in particular. Sorry.
okay. I thought it was that "Never Gonna Give You Up" song. That thing, but
I don't know that one.
or
okay.
Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen.
All right. So
I'm gonna pop in.
Remy comes back in.
Mr. Porter, my battery's about to die. Can I borrow your backup phone?
Sure, sure. I pull it out of my pocket and hand it to you.
Okay.
I got it. Let me talk to you about something though outside just for a second.
Oh yeah, sure. We got to call back in to tell them that we're wrapping things up. So yeah.
That's
Come
fine.
out of here. You two doctors talk doctor stuff. You good?
I nod.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
The computer they have, D. Hey D, you're not out here, are you?
There is no response.
You okay?
That computer.
We cut to D looking through the window and reading
Yeah.
it.
I'm
I don't
sorry,
feel
you
so
can't
well.
do that. That computer is crazy powerful. Like the most powerful computer I've ever heard of. And it's not very big. It's just in that rack.
Yeah, I mean, this is, they said this
No,
is
you
like
don't
got
understand. Okay. Previous experience tells me that computers can bring in things from other places.
You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific there, Mr. Porter, like emails or something.
I'm assuming if you work for the group that you've had experiences with things.
Obviously, I wasn't picked off randomly.
Right.
So you're telling me you have experience with computers connecting
Opening
to something.
doors or allowing things from one place to another.
And did that happen?
I've seen it happen.
No, I'm not asking if it happened yesterday.
Oh, I
I'm
don't
at-
think
like, when
so
you went-
yet. But I'm wondering if, like, when they turn this thing on, it pierced something and it like put a hole in something, and that's what we felt. That's what we were getting because we're already sort of attuned to that stuff.
Okay, so all right. So I
It's
talked to Miss
just,
Garney.
yeah,
I'm with you,
just
Miss
could be a
Porter.
coincidence.
No, I understand it. We got to start thinking about what explains it, right?
Yeah.
So
This computer is smarter than anybody here.
okay. So Miss Garner and I were talking, and I am very suspect about what our handler was not telling us, Miss
Yeah.
Carpenter.
Well, this computer, okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but it came from Area 51. This is part of what they were researching down there.
Good, and we're going to figure some more
So
stuff out about it.
that may be some of the stuff she couldn't tell us.
And well, and I'm saying we find out. So here's what I'm about to do. I'm going to call her.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to tell her we've checked everything out. Nothing looks out of the ordinary, other than the fact that these people are a little nutty, and that we're heading out. And what I'm hoping is that will convince her that she needs to give us some more information, because I'm telling you right now, she did not tell us everything. And for now, I want you to keep your spooky computer stuff just yourself, and
Okay,
then
but what are we gonna do if she says, "Okay, take off"?
well, let's burn that bridge when we get to it. How's that sound?
All right, you're the boss.
So I'm going to call.
All right. So as you're dialing, I would like everybody to make me a power roll.
Oh,
That's never
That's-
good.
that's
Never
against
good.
your-
Power rolls are never good.
It's against your power times 5, which I think is already on the character sheets.
Oh, never good. Never good.
da,
Never
da, da,
good.
da, da.
Where is my pal? There's my pal. Oh, good.
Oh,
Good.
Craig, we had
97%.
opposite rolls.
Perfect.
I got doubles.
Excellent. You got doubles in the good way.
Yes, I
All
got
right.
good doubles, not bad doubles.
So,
Greg just exploded.
no, Greg, you. Well, let me tell you what everybody senses first, and then we'll go from there. All of you. No, actually, Remy doesn't notice anything unusual. He's dialing the phone, waiting for it to pick up. The rest of you suddenly get this sensation. You know how when you're coming in, landing on a plane, and the pressure is kind of building up, or when you like in a really fast elevator in a high rise, and you get that sense of like the pressure building up and your ears kind of want to pop? It's sort of like that, except it's everywhere. It's like there is something pressing in on you from outside. And the f- it's you can't really articulate it because it's not even a physical sensation. It's almost more psychological, as though you were in some kind of bubble or balloon that's being squeezed from the outside. Um, and Porter, you know for a fact that the fact that you are aware of whatever this is making it aware of you. It knows you.
I grab
Um,
Remy's arm.
mhm.
It knows we're here.
Um,
It knows we're here.
Yeah.
so
Let me just make this call, and we can talk about who's here and who's not here.
No, 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 no. Did you not just feel that?
Your arm touching me, yeah. Your lips,
No,
Hammy.
no, no.
Hey, Miss Garner, can you help me out here for a second?
Did you feel it?
so those of you who are not Remy, actually, Kyle, Kyle and Nick, if you would each roll me a D4. Good, good. See, that wasn't so bad. So you each lose 1 san and 1 willpower. John, you lose 4 of each.
Yay!
And you also have a weird flash of memory while all that is going on.
Oh no.
It's like
Wait,
you
I lost 4 willpower points?
yes, WP.
Oh, that's
It's
a lot.
down under the
Yeah.
yeah.
It just was a
It's that
small
really
number
small
that didn't
number about
really
halfway down
want
your
to
sheet.
lose 4 from.
Yeah, no, it is a disappointingly sizable chunk of your willpower that's just there. Yay, critical successes. But basically, you remember coming here before. You remember pulling up to that gate out front in the dark. It was already night. You had gotten some kind of call that said you and the rest of this team had to get here in a hurry. And when you got to the gate, you could already hear the gunfire going inside, and you could hear the screaming. And then suddenly, something enormous and black and bigger than the night just erupted across the sky, and everything was gone.
I just
I think that
sit
I
down.
think I think that's probably a good place to end it for the night.
All right, let's go to credits. We'll be back on the other side.
No.
So I'm going to ask one question, Brian, then I'd like for you to ask the other questions, being the handler, if that's all right. So my first question, strictly from a GM standpoint, as someone who even on this channel has run Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green, I think one of the most common discussions or questions you always hear is what's the difference? From a handler standpoint, what do you think is different between running this versus Call of Cthulhu?
Well, one of the things that I really like about Delta Green is that it, because obviously all of the Cthulhu ilk of RPGs have some kind of sanity mechanic and keeping track of that kind of thing. One of the things that Delta Green does that is really cool is it takes a lot of effort into bringing that back into the characters' home lives. Because in Call of Cthulhu, if you're in a campaign, it's like, hi, we're playing, Murder on the Orient Express, and we're going to be doing this for the next 3 months, and we're on the train. But in Delta Green, after pretty much every mission, you go back home and you have to deal with your family and your loved ones. And one of the things you can do, we haven't had any significant sanity losses here yet, it's just been a little one point at a time, is every character has what they call bonds, which are relationships with your family and your friends, your loved ones. And when you take a big sanity hit, you can basically project that sanity loss onto your bond with someone. Basically means you lose less sanity, but your relationship with that person deteriorates
Evolves.
because you've been off on this situation and you just had to shoot a possessed guy in cold blood because he was going to summon a demon, and you can't tell your wife that. So
Right.
she just senses that you're hiding things from her and the relationship deteriorates. And there's a lot of material in the book about relating the sort of nitty-gritty of fighting the supernatural back to the home front. And that's something I really appreciate.
All right. So, Brian, questions for the cast?
Well, the first and the most important question, of course, is: are you having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
I like the
Yeah,
slow burn, Brian.
yeah, exactly. This one is definitely a slow burn, but I think we have just kind of reached the top of the lift hill, and things are going to
Okay.
start becoming a lot more interesting.
So you're saying the monster bigger than night and the end of the world vision, that's like the top?
I mean, that hasn't happened, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's a
But-
thing that one of you
Or
is aware
has
of.
it?
Yeah. But also with the slow burn, which is good about this, is we're playing pre-gens and not
Mhm.
characters we create on our own. So it allows us to find our own character's voice
I
and
agree.
stance
Yeah, and I
and
like seeing
figure out
these
each other's
as well.
characters too. Yeah,
Yeah.
no session zero. It's jumping in, having fun, and the slow burn's almost needed, at least for me. I enjoy it. So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then the other question is, well, I think we have a pretty good idea of what Agent Porter thinks is going on, since you have some background. So, how would you synopsize your theory at the moment?
You're talking about me? Or
Yes.
just anybody? Oh, yeah, they're opening a portal of some kind to something and banging on the door saying, or ringing the dinner bell. I feel more likely it's like, come get it. And they've got a supercomputer that's going to be like, this is very interesting. I wonder what happens if this happens.
Yes. I have to say my favorite moment of the night was when you were sitting in the room talking to Dee and you just kind of poked the bear. Oh, they've got you on a chain. And I can just see, if especially if this were like an ongoing campaign, literally everybody else at the table just kind of going,
Yeah.
what? That was beautiful. So Kyle, I haven't had a chance to do any RPGs with you before. What are you thinking so far?
So far, so good. I do enjoy a little bit of mystery. So it's always a little bit of a challenge to try to figure out. It's like, okay, what are we looking for? As we're running on very little information, it's like,
Mhm.
I'm not sure what to be poking at, so to speak.
Yeah. But I think clues are starting to make themselves felt.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
No question.
And then Nick, I know you said you were really looking forward to your first Delta Green experience. Going well so far?
so far so good. Yeah, I'm excited. The whole time I kept thinking, like, this character is very matter of factual kind of
Mhm.
guy. The mythos thing is he needs a little bit more proof than whatnot, and trying to find that in something that's more lore and mystical and magical, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
the mythos of it is something that it's going to probably for him have to just be exposed to, as opposed to and just continue seeking it out, as opposed to finding the facts and data and the crunch of it, being a scientist. So I'm excited to play this side of it. Not only am I trying a different type of character, but like I said, I've been wanting to jump into the system since Craig had Dennis on the podcast
Mhm.
year and a half ago. I mean, that, like you said, it was like one of the
Yeah, it
original.
was a while, and then I also had John Scott Tynes, who was also one of the originators of
Mhm.
the original Delta Green. He was part of that murder house that they lived in when this came about.
Right.
So that's another interview that people should check out as well.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So Kyle, you have not been on the channel before. This is your first time on it, and I have devised a random question generator.
Oh,
So I'm gonna have that come up, and I'm just gonna ask whatever comes up, and you just tell me off the top of your head. If you're uncomfortable with answering the question, obviously you can pass on it. So, oh, okay. So here's the question. The question is, if someone is interested in both Malifaux and RPGs and game design, and they happen to have time on their hands where they maybe can't watch anything, maybe just want to listen to anything, is there any podcasts out there that they should be listening to? Totally random.
um, hmm, Well, something you could check out is there's this new one. Well, it's kind of new. It's kind of old. It's called Coyote's Den. It's kind of a rebranding of Schemes and Stones, and we're gonna cover it. It covers some Malifaux. It's gonna cover some other stuff as well. Some RPGs. Gonna expand our base.
So if someone is on their podcatcher right now trying to find this, what do they look for?
They will want to look under Coyote's Den. If you look up Schemes and Stones, that's going to all start switching over relatively soon as the names and all that starts um, going through the feeds and getting adjusted.
And should we spell Coyote?
Yes, it is Khyodee. And the play on that, if you haven't figured it out, is my name is Kyle Bodie, Coyote. That is why I use that.
Bam.
So after we get caught up listening to Coyote's Den, Brian, what's the next thing we should listen to on our podcatcher?
Probably Third Floor Wars. They do some amazing
After that.
interviews. They have, sorry, yes. Well, if they're interested in board games, they might want to check out the Ascent of Board Games, which is a monthly board game podcast where we talk about different genres and types of games and where the how the games have evolved over time.
And Nick, if somebody has no plans on Saturday night, June 4th, is there anything that they might be interested in?
Yeah, about 9 p.m. Eastern. There's one hell of what do they call it? The duet
Yeah, duet.
RPG duet. It's Craig and I running through Call of Cthulhu, and the one-on-one is an amazing experience on my side. It sounds like it's getting a great response from the viewers, but it's just a different way of RPing. It's fantastic.
Gets more
Yeah,
interesting every
it's been
time.
cool. Yeah, it's been really interesting, and it's had a huge effect on me as a GM. And as a sideline to this, for those of you that are keepers or just GMs in general, I'm also having conversations with Anthony Boyd, who is probably more well known as Runeslinger. And if you go to the Runeslinger YouTube channel, there is a playlist there that is devoted to what Nick and I are doing. And what's neat about it is you can watch the first episode of Nick and I playing. Then you can listen to my conversations with Anthony about what happened, some challenges I was having. I get his advice. We brainstorm for the next session. Then you can watch Nick and I second session. Then you can watch Anthony and I discussing it. It's been a really, really neat thing. It's the only time I've ever had kind of a third party who's not part of the game, but has watched the game. And somebody who's as experienced as Anthony is as a keeper and as a GM. It's been fantastic. And boy, we left it quite a spot, Nick. So I can't wait to start the next episode.
I don't know what to do still. It's been weeks.
All right.
Okay.
John, welcome to the channel, man. It's been really great having you on here. And
Thanks.
I can't wait to play again with you. And Kyle, I knew we were going to have a good time, man. All right, beautiful. So for those of you watching, like, subscribe, all that baloney. Leave a comment down below because you're supposed to. And then watch out for the next episode. If you do not follow us on Twitter, that's the best way to find the most recent schedule for us. We've got a ton of fun stuff coming up, both in the rest of May as well as June. Well, there isn't much rest of May left, so in June, so you can check that schedule. Brian, I appreciate it.
Happy to do it,
Thanks,
man.
Brian.
There was a comment
thank
earlier
you.
in the chat that somebody said that this adventure had driven some of their players away from Delta Green. I hope I don't do that to you guys.
We're a resilient bunch. We're a resilient
Excellent.
bunch.
Excellent.
All right, for those of you that watch the whole thing, I appreciate you too. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.